What's up? It's your boy Kevin to turn on this motherfucking YouTube shit. Wow, what the fuck?
What's up? It's your boy Kevin to turn on YouTube shit. Hey man, say man, we are. Turn to my freaking day. Show him outside. Big crippling. Gang showing outside shit, man. Free pass down, free Congo, rush your thing, and Texas stand the fuck up. Each day is never be a better version of yourself. Now let's not bring down also back. Never let's tell you who you are, but also never put yourself in a position you don't belong. Let's stay humble. Let's get a revolution on the movement. Keep your way first. Come to the Black Hebrew Israelite as a real Jew. We out here. Alright. Boom. Today, to my freaking day. Show him outside. Big crippling. Gang showing outside shit, man. Turn up. Nigga, go. Gang shit. Hey, bruh. So look at this shit, man. This is diabolical. Laughable at this moment. So you know how, we black people, man, basically create all the entertainment. You know what I'm saying? All the superheroes are after our black people. Like, if they try to say we took their shit, they took our shit before we even took their shit. They steal all our shit and whitewash it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it goes. That's what happens. They steal black people shit and they whitewash it. They take claim of it and they put copyright on it. But, you got these comedians, the impersonators, man. They take their job too damn serious, man. You know what I'm saying? They be feeling like they really this person or they really that person. So we got Fabio Jackson. He's like a well-known Michael Jackson impersonator. So, Michael Jackson coming out with a movie. And everybody and their mama know Michael Jackson was black, nigga. Crip. So Michael Jackson didn't want no white character playing him in his movie. You dig what I'm saying? So they casting his son, his nephew, to be Michael Jackson. So we got Fabio Jackson. He like a white dude, but he got plastic surgery to look like Michael Jackson, and he low key racist, and he getting mad because he not picked as as Michael Jackson in the movie. So we also got Michael Jackson beefs, the real Michael Jackson, so we can see the difference. So let's get into it, man. Shout out to Maury. Michael Jackson impersonator think he's real MJ. I don't know if y'all been seeing that MJ impersonator on TikTok and on YouTube who been going crazy. Nigga, they been turning his ass up. He like a white Michael Jackson. And he mad because he didn't get picked in the Michael Jackson movie. Because the real Michael Jackson wanted a black Michael Jackson instead of white Michael Jackson. So he mad because he said he liked the real Michael Jackson. When he bleached his skin.
Woman instantly regrets hiring Michael Jackson to the party.
He must be the
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is actually kind of scary and funny at the same time. Like, what is that?
Michael Jackson impersonators. This is not the one right now. If it's just gonna be the Michael Jackson impersonator, we're gonna look at it anyway.
His face was to the camera after sliding all the way from halfway across the room to her cell phone. Like, honestly, these Michael Jackson impersonators are getting a little bit creepy now. And here's the other angle right here. You could actually see who was recording. I mean, she looked terrified. I'm not gonna lie. She actually looked like she was not prepared for this at all. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm only talking about this today because there seems to be some drama in the Michael Jackson impersonator community. Yes, there's a whole community surrounding being Michael Jackson, literal grown men pretending to be Michael Jackson. But specifically, today's story is about this Michael Jackson impersonator by the name of Fabio Jackson, who apparently is the most famous Michael Jackson impersonator worldwide. As far as I can see, it's over 600,000 on Instagram and over 12.4 million followers on TikTok. So he's a pretty big deal.
He doing something.
If your mind is racing, shouldn't your earbuds keep...
The drama surrounding this guy, as far as I know, is surrounding a reaction that he did to the recently dropped Michael Jackson bio by the name of Michael. And in that trailer, he was basically, sitting in his chair with a hoodie on, just reacting to the whole thing, and his facial expressions, and I suppose his body language gave off a little bit of salt.
This nigga was
maybe
mad as
I'm gonna play a
hell.
little bit of that reaction for you guys right
Mad as hell because he didn't get picked. You can see the hate on his eyes. Nigga like an F. Nigga, you not the real Michael Jackson, nigga. Michael Jackson was black. Somebody his mom was Mexican and Chinese or some shit. What the fuck?
Can you lower the lights for me, please?
Okay, but remember, in here, keep those feet still, my man.
And it was at that part that a lot of people, based off of his reaction, they thought that he was a little bit salty. You can see if you're watching right now, it's just his hand over his mouth. He places his hand over his mouth. He looks over to the camera. Bro actually looks salty. I'm not gonna lie. He looks disappointed. I'm just looking at his face right now. Mind you, I don't use scripts. I do everything in real time. The comments, though, are saying, I'm sorry, but you're starting to remind me of Paige Nyman, right? The girl who tried to copy Ariana Grande. I made a video about her years ago. They go on to say, though, it's not about you. Enjoy the damn movie, man. It's just funny. Like, I just don't get these impersonators, how they get so deep into the identities of other individuals. Like, I saw this video of the same exact guy, Fabio, years ago, where he was walking with his girlfriend, right? And he saw another Michael Jackson impersonator. I don't know if this was in Las Vegas or not, but he walked up to this man dancing on the street or whatever, right? Doing his job. And he walked up as if he was Michael Jackson himself, like rating or gauging or judging whether or not this was a good performance or not. Let me play the clip here for you.
Hell no. Hell no. Why you trying to critique this nigga and shit? He's like, Michael Jackson was black.
Like, do you see the way this man is standing right here, bro? Like, why is he over here standing as if he's the real Michael Jackson, judging another Michael Jackson impersonator, bro? Like, genuinely speaking, bro, you're not him. You're not Michael, bro. Like, this is levels of delusion and mental illness that I've not seen yet before. You see this guy right here? Look at, oh my God. Bro, I swear to God, this is actually hilarious to me. I don't know if I should go down the rabbit hole of Michael Jackson impersonators. I'm trying to keep my composure. All right, let me calm down. But do you see this other man right here looking at Fabio as if he's out of his goddamn mind, bro? He looks... Bro, he looks like he's in the Twilight Zone. He looks like he doesn't know what the hell is going on here. And his wife is just drinking water as if this is all normal, bro. Like, genuinely speaking, man, I gotta say, bro, we live in very strange times. Very funny times, indeed. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I am running a $100 giveaway to 3 different people, of course, before Thanksgiving. So be sure to follow my Instagram. All links are down below. I do have TikTok and Spotify and Apple Music, too, for my podcast-related stuff. You want to follow that as well, go ahead. But I will, at the day of choosing the 3 winners, will be dropping it. Say sorry for losing my composure. It's just sometimes certain topics, it really gets to me. Like, I can't believe certain things that I talk about genuinely being in the news cycle and making headlines, and people like taking this shit seriously. This guy, I'm not gonna lie, he's off his rockers. Somebody said in the comment section, though, at least you were in Scary Movie 4, brother in Christ. I'm not gonna lie, that Michael Jackson as a kid scared the hell out of me. And for those of you who don't know, Scary Movie 4, or the Scary Movie franchise, is a parody on horror movies, essentially. I believe they started out with Scream, and then like The Ring, and then other like popular scary movies back in the early 2000s. But anyway, another comment said, you can do a Sandra Bullock documentary. And on Twitter, and you know Twitter's a wild place, follow me on there. People started roasting him saying, girl, I don't give an F. What a Michael Jackson impersonator that can't sing or dance and looks like Sandra Bullock, or however you say her last name, gotta say. And then people in the comments started comparing him to the actor Sandra Bullock, or Bullock. I don't know how you say her last name. Goddamn, but you get the point. Like, people are like, Sandra Bullock reading this.
The computer said, Floyd said, fuck T.I., fuck Nelly, fuck 50. I'm like, what he say? Fuck me.
Bruh. Sandra catching an unnecessary straight like Sandra after you compared her to that thing. Now I can't unsee it. Back on TikTok, someone said Michael Jackson, by the way, and showing an
Black.
image of him when he was younger, you know,
He was
before a lot
black.
of the surgeries and whatnot. You know, it seems as though that a lot of people don't know what Michael Jackson looked like
He was black.
before, you know, the vitiligo and the surgeries and all that. But yeah, I mean, I think he was like in his early 20s or he was a teenager here at the very least. And maybe at this point in his reaction, when Fabio saw, you know, Michael Jackson's nephew playing him, you know, with the prosthetic on his nose, you know, to make him look more Michael Jackson-esque before the surgeries, people are now thinking that Fabio didn't like seeing not only Michael Jackson's nephew playing Michael in this role,
He wanna
but
be
also
Michael
he didn't like
Jackson
the
in the
way that
role.
Michael
It's
was
too late, my boy.
portrayed during this scene. Because look at Fabio. He dedicated his life to looking like Michael, and look how they portrayed Michael in that very scene. You know, so a lot of people are assuming that he's disappointed that
mad.
Michael looks like that, if that makes any type of sense. Somebody said the concept of a Michael impersonator reacting to a movie about Michael Jackson as if he's the real one is hilarious. And apparently the lore on this guy goes even deeper. Somebody said in a comment, they said what's even creepier is that he changed his last name to Jackson. His last name was originally Fernandez, and he's given his baby the last name Jackson as well. That's messing with the baby's identity. He was always a strange kid when we were at school together, but I never imagined he would turn out like this. Whoa. So this is someone, Sophie, on TikTok, I think, that he went to school with. And she's claiming that he is now given his new child, his baby with his wife, the last name Jackson. He changed his last name to Jackson and gave his child Jackson the last name as well. As you can see on his TikTok page, he did show off his son to the world. You can see his wife in the back and whatnot. And I just gotta say, is he really at home? Like dressed as like, did he really just get surgery to look like Michael Jackson? Like, is that like a makeup or a prosthetic, or does he actually looks like that 24/7? Is this actually real, man? Because if so, that's creepy as hell. Not gonna lie. Somebody said in the comment, you remind me of Sandra Bullock, man. That's crazy, bro. Poor Sandra, I'm not gonna lie. Like, why is she catching strays? Like, genuinely speaking, this is crazy. And poor kid too. Like, this is having a dad like this is gonna be weird growing up in the spotlight like this. And apparently the lore goes even deeper. This Twitter user said, read this and you will know the reason. Some people pretend to be an MJ fan. And in these screenshots, I suppose there's a thread exposing different comments made by Fabio. In the comment section on TikTok, someone said, and you not even black, ... cultural appropriation. Fabio then responded back by saying, why, ? Hair is hair. Are you going to tell me that blank people that wear wigs? Be quiet. Kiana then said, and that's the person who made the comment that Fabio's responding to. She said, I'll be quiet once you stop cosplaying a black man. Fabio then said that, and I quote, black man, since you want to be disrespectful, made his looks like mine. I'm cosplaying myself.
Yeah, skin is
So
then he got
Michael's
burnt by
catching
fire,
strays here. In
bitch.
some leaked DMs, I'm seeing
ass.
Fabio was responding to someone, and this part of the screenshot says, I appreciate it. By the way, there's some bad grammar here. So he says, I appreciate, I ain't crazy fan. The person he was responding to in the DMs then said, and that's why your entire account about looking like someone else. Fabio then responded back by saying, Michael looks like me. He was a black kid. He changed his appearance because of his health and insecurity issues. I was just fortunate enough to have a look that he wanted to achieve.
Bitch,
Wow,
you
that's
had
crazy.
fucking
As if he literally
surgery.
didn't go out of his way to get surgery to look like Michael himself. But anyway, the person he was messaging then said, I think my brain cells died reading this. Fabio then said, probably did. They then said, you are one of the most shallow people I've seen. And then OP, the original person who tweeted those images, said, and I quote, parroting what he said in those DMs, I was just fortunate enough to have a look that he wanted to achieve. End quote. This guy had several surgeries to look like Michael. I didn't know that, by the way, guys. I'm reading this in real time. But of course, he meant that he was lucky to be born white, and that Michael, he tried to achieve that. That's so racist. Again, guys, I'm just reading it word for word. The grammar is horrendous in a lot of these posts. But it seems like this guy, maybe is a little racially disrespectful to Michael, given the screenshots that I'm saying. Like, he's a fan of a black artist, yet is somehow disrespecting him through these comments, saying that Michael wanted to look like him. Meanwhile, he literally apparently got 7 surgeries to look like Mike. It's crazy the levels of delusion and cognitive dissonance a lot of these people can have, to the point where they're literally being disrespectful to the person that they're cosplaying as. And now in some creepy ass dystopian Black Mirror identity crisis, this man has now apparently stolen Michael Jackson's identity. That is what I probably might title the video. This man stole Michael Jackson's identity. Because this is some real shadow organization clone MK Ultra. They cloned Michael type shit. Like, I don't know. I think I'm going to end the video here, guys. What are your thoughts and opinions down below about
the
this?
Mandela
Honestly,
effect is insane.
this is just weird. And this guy can't even sing. He can't dance.
Don't acknowledge my smile when I'm trying to say hello to you. Yeah, and all you got to do is not answer my call when
And then
I'm
you want to be
trying
Michael
to get
Jackson.
keep me wondering why. All I can do is sigh. I just want to touch you.
Hell
Man, turn this
no.
shit off. That is
Get
trash.
the fuck
Like, what?
up,
Look, see,
man.
guys, thoughts and opinions down below. This guy is weird, and the fact that he has the audacity to disrespect the king of pop, the greatest pop star that will ever live, that has ever lived, it's just crazy. Bro really tried to say that Michael tried to look like him, that he was just born like this. Yeah, okay, buddy. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Shout out to Ben Zero. You dig what I'm saying? Ben Zero. Michael Jackson fan react to impersonator being salty. Man, Fabio, man, that nigga trash.
Michael Jackson impersonator Fabio Jackson has gone viral.
Trash.
Just not the way he hoped.
Booty doo.
After the teaser from Michael, the upcoming
Straight
biopic
garbage.
starring Jafar Jackson dropped on
Get him out
November
the tank,
6th,
coach.
Fabio shared his reaction online. But instead of excitement, fans got an eerie silence. Arms crossed, eyes locked on the screen. His stare said everything. Viewers quickly labeled the moment awkward, jealous,
He's
and
a
painfully
hater.
uncomfortable. Within hours, the clip racked up millions of views, turning into meme gold across X, TikTok, and Reddit.
Are we okay? Are we okay? The Michael Jackson biopic preview came out this week, and you've got the Michael Jackson cosplayer upset because he didn't get picked to play Michael. And then you've got everybody on the internet upset because Michael didn't come out of his grave to play his own self. And y'all just talking about, oh, he doesn't look like Michael. That's Jafar Jackson, Michael's nephew, Jermaine Jackson's son. Literally Michael Jackson's brother. One of the Jackson 5. They all look alike. Jafar is the closest thing we're going to get to Michael. Closest thing. And I don't want white Michael. I want black Michael. And I don't want Flex Alexander Michael. Why are we upset?
Whether you're a
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is tickling me. Why is Fabio Jackson live right now, right? Y'all know the Michael Jackson trailer just came out. Why is he on live right now? Like, it's almost like
he's Michael Jackson.
you said because
Like
he
he
didn't
just
get
blessed
picked.
somebody with the role and said, I don't know
There's
about
no
it.
shade. It's just funny. I don't know why it's funny, but it's funny. Like, make your money. I'm not hating at all. Like, by no means. It's just the fact that he's live today when the trailer just dropped. And it's almost like, you know, he's like, that should have been me.
That's basically what he's thinking. I bet Michael Jackson even fuck with this nigga, bro.
He's not Michael Jackson.
Nigga, he will fuck with the real Michael Jackson women fuck with this nigga.
Michael Jackson. You is not Michael
That
Jackson.
nigga will banish this nigga to the shadow realm. The real Michael will banish this nigga to the shadow realm. Nigga, you fuck this goofy ass on.
He hating on Mike Nephew because he want to be the goddamn starting role. Bro, you're not Michael. Nick can't even dance. Nick can't even sing. Nick can't even say he. I just need everybody to tell them you're not Michael. Nigga ain't even Michael.
Y'all should have
This is
known the
my
level of
kid.
delusion that Fabio had when that motherfucker went up to another impersonator and had the nerve to say, I love when impersonators do this. Y'all got the same job. Like,
I'll need to let this Fabian Jackson guy know that he's not Michael Jackson. First, it was him impersonating a
You
Michael
ain't got
Jackson
the
guy as if he
Africans
isn't
calling
an
this bullshit
impersonator
out.
himself. Watching this guy dance, judging him as if he's Michael Jackson himself.
Yeah.
I know he's gonna be
You know you
reacting to
fucking
this
got the
fucking
Africans
movie
coming on this
trailer
bitch.
as
Cause they
if
love Michael Jackson in
it's
Africa,
about
bitch.
him and he's not in it.
Insane.
this guy really be walking around like he's Michael Jackson.
Bozo.
He really, I think he really think
He really think he Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
I don't know what's wilder, watching the Michael Jackson person on live stream, because some people was doing it, or watching the Michael Jackson person that watched the Michael Jackson on the live stream, watching the movie trailer and getting emotional. Like it was him. He was like, let's see how it goes. Are we that bored? I mean, I didn't watch it. I just saw it because I was like, people are really into the. And he got a big fan base. I mean, it kind of looks like Michael Jackson. God, not fully, but he was
Nigga like the great value Michael Jackson. Nigga like the Leatherface Michael Jackson head ass. Get the fuck? Hell no.
Motherfucking Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson got beat in the face with a pan of fish, nigga.
Yeah. Y'all see
Hell
him
no.
motherfucking react to the trailer of the new Michael Jackson?
Trash.
Yo, why he looked absolutely fucking disgusted. Okay? He looked like how
Nigga like this ain't be able to speak on Michael Jackson. Nigga, crip.
Yo, what's up with them?
White man crazy, man.
Like, for real, I think he's the only one that really taking it a little too far. Like, nigga, you're not Michael, okay? Michael been gone, nigga. Like, he looked absolutely disgusted, okay? He looked like, how dare you, bitch. This nigga don't look like me. Whole time, they saying this nigga Fabio don't even know how to dance. Nigga can't dance, nigga can't sing. You just look like the nigga.
Cause he got surgery, nigga.
Like, bro.
It wasn't like he was just born looking like that nigga.
You're not the real MJ, and you ain't the only fucking impersonator.
I'm not gonna hold y'all up. This guy is getting on my nerve. Fabio Jackson, bro. Whatever his name is, bro. Why is he watching the Michael Jackson documentary with such a judgmental look on his face? You know what pisses me off? So I start going down the Fabio rabbit hole, bro. Bro, this dude literally is an impersonator. He'll walk up on impersonators, judging them, and then he'll whisper to some chickies with, I just love impersonators. Bro.
You an impersonator, bitch.
Why do we allow this in society, bro? These people should be killed. I'm not okay with
How the fuck y'all get this
This
nigga
is
to
so
12
weird. This is how
million
you know you're living in a
views on
simulation.
subscribers?
When
I just
people
found out
would
this
rather be
goofy
other
ass
people,
motherfucker.
and then they get famous for it. Yes, he's talented and stuff, but bro, do you
Ain't
understand
that
how
talented,
crazy
bitch.
this is?
He's not getting what this bozo doing.
Yo,
Look at
just
it, yeah,
allow
look at
me
Michael
to
Jackson.
rant, okay?
Goofy
I don't know
ass.
who worse, man. This dude right here that's a Michael Jackson impersonator, or that one dude that be with the knee pads sliding up on people, man. I don't know who worse, man. But yo,
I don't know, nigga. We just
he
seen a
mad
nigga
that they
just slide up.
cast him for the movie, man. Shame on you. Shame on you. Plain and simple,
That
man.
shit
Y'all
would've been
ever see him
hilarious,
go in
nigga. They want no
traffic, man?
fucking
Go watch some of
comedy
them Vegas
special, nigga.
videos, man.
They
Where
want
he be
something up
watching
in
the
that
other
bitch
Michael Jackson
personal, bitch.
impersonators,
Deep.
man. Cuddy got hate written all over his face. He be looking at him like, yeah.
Nigga don't want no
he's
fucking
doing a
comedy
good job,
special,
pretending
bitch.
to
They
be me.
want
He
personal
really
and
think
deep,
he
nigga.
MJ, man. Really think he MJ.
Really
Him
do.
and man, what's your cousin's name, man? Oh man, my mind went blank though, but man, he been a Michael Jackson impersonator since Ricky Lake though. Go back and look at them old episodes. But yeah, dude though, he be tripping me out because he really think he MJ though, man. Look at him.
He really
Hot
do.
about this movie
He
that's
really
about to
do.
drop, man. Hot.
Ski and ride.
Clown.
Boy, you is not Mike.
Clown.
He acting like he Mike for
Look, he
real.
like Tarzan with his goofy ass.
Biopic. They
He
was not
wish he
about to
could be.
cast you.
He
bro.
wish he could be black.
I swear they was
Goofy
not
ass.
about to cast you.
At
You
all.
did not have to worry. First of all, there was no way for you to play young Mike. I guess they may have could have put you in some makeup
Blackface
and
or some shit.
prosthetics,
Nigga
but
ain't got all
no,
that
bro.
goofy ass
And
shit.
then 9 times out of 10, they not really gonna show that much of after surgery Mike. This dude looked like after surgery Mike. That's it, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, you probably can't even act.
Fabio,
You're not Michael Jackson, my nigga. Shut the fuck up, dude. He acting like the trailer is supposed to be about him or some shit. He was like, well, like,
he look ugly ass
Michael
kid.
Jackson, they gonna do this for me. Like, you know
They
what I'm saying?
blanket.
Fabio, shut up, bro.
Ass.
We know what you doing, bro. You're not Michael Jackson, bro.
At all.
You need to cut that shit up. Stop it. You can't sing, you can't dance, you can't do any of that shit, bro. Honestly, Fabio just looking like this, look at his reaction. This dude is reacting like, well, like, you know, they should have picked me for, like, you know, instead of Jafar. Nigga, you look nothing like that. I'm gonna be honest. I never liked Fabio. He looks nothing like Michael Jackson. I'm gonna be honest. He looked like Michael Jackson when Michael Jackson in Scary Movie 3. That's what I'm gonna say. But Fabio, you shut the fuck up, bro.
I'm about to say
you do not look anything like Michael Jackson.
And y'all, what's up with this Fabio dude? Like, I've been seeing him all around, and he just act like he the manager or something. Like, Michael appointed him to some type of position in the Michael Jackson Impersonator club, but that's what he acts like. And he also acts entitled. Y'all, I ain't never seen a Michael Jackson impersonator act as entitled as him. Like, Fabio is acting like he should have had some type of input in this project. Like, I don't think he was expecting to get the role. Obviously, like, no. That was never going to happen. It was never going to be you. But I truly do feel like he feel like somebody should have hit him up.
Everyone's going to get picked.
Got his opinion
on, like, the
set. I don't know. That's what it's given. And then in that same video, so he tried to say that his reaction to the trailer didn't mean much because he didn't say anything. But you know you was jealous. You
jealous like a motherfucker.
But you was jealous.
He was hating like a motherfucker.
But it was never gonna be you. And you can't dance. I'm sorry. I seen old videos. You just ain't got it. Like Jafar, he got it. That's his uncle. That's the closest we gonna get to Michael.
The biopic, directed by Antoine Fuqua, stars Jafar Jackson, the late icon's nephew, in the title role. The cast also includes Nia Long, Coleman Domingo, Miles Teller, Laura Harrier, and Giuliano Cruvaldi. Jafar expressed his gratitude for the opportunity to portray his legendary uncle, writing, "I'm humbled and honored to bring my Uncle Michael's story to life. To all the fans all over the world, I'll see you soon." Jackson family matriarch Katherine Jackson praised the casting, saying, "Jafar embodies my son. It's so wonderful to see him carry on the Jackson legacy."
Shout out to Ben Zero,
Producer
man.
Graham King added that Jafar was chosen after a global search, calling his resemblance to Michael's energy and presence powerful and organic. With the film's teaser already making waves and Fabio Jackson's reaction clip adding unexpected viral fuel, Michael is shaping up to be one of 2025's most talked about releases. Whether awkward or heartfelt, Fabio's silence has everyone talking, proving once again that even decades after his passing, Michael Jackson's legacy continues to stir emotion and fascination worldwide.
To Maddie Balls on the mini beats of the real Michael Jackson, not Fabio, fake Jackson. It's the real Jackson.
When you think about Michael Jackson, you probably think of a soft-spoken, charitable, and kind artist. And while all of that may be true, what a lot of people don't realize is that he could be a little cutthroat, especially when it came to beefs in business, which inevitably led to him having some serious back and forths with his fellow artists, with some labeling him cold as ice. So join me today as we look into the many beefs of Michael Jackson. When Michael Jackson and Eminem beefed, it was pretty surprising. Not only because they're some of the biggest names in the music industry, but also because of the weird ways they went about taking shots at one another. Em and Mike's relationship had its first road bump back in 2003. This is when Em was in Glasgow for a show, where at his hotel with tons of paparazzi watching, he dangled and tossed around a baby doll out of his window. Without context, you're probably wondering, what does that have to do with Michael? Well, a few months earlier, MJ was in Berlin for an awards ceremony, and for whatever reason, he dangled his 8-month-old son out the window. Mike faced some obvious backlash for this terrible mistake, which led to him eventually. His backlash
Michael
for this
Jackson was
terrible
goated,
mistake,
nigga.
which led to him eventually apologizing, saying, "I got caught up in the excitement of the moment. I would never intentionally endanger the lives of my children." This is a weird thing to do regardless of excitement. Maybe he was just trying to show the kid off to the crowd. That could be it. I don't know. But what's important is that it was a pretty bad public moment for Michael, which he took a decent amount of criticism for. And that's why Eminem mocked him. So you could see how this would start a bit of a rift between Michael and M, who weren't even friends before any of this. But Eminem decided to take it a step further. In 2004, Eminem dropped the song Just Lose It as the lead single for his album Encore. Along with the song was a music video which had multiple scenes clearly mocking Michael. But it wasn't just the video that stirred things up, because when you look into the lyrics, M goes at Mike with some pretty wild subliminals. Early in the song's intro, M says, "Alright, stop, pajama time." This isn't just some MC Hammer pun. He's instead referring to the 2003 Michael Jackson documentary, Living with Michael Jackson, in which Mike discussed letting kids sleep in his bed. And throughout the rest of Just Lose It, M continued to take more digs at Michael and his case, saying things like, "Guess who's back with a brand new rap?" And I don't mean rap as in a new case of child accusations. "I done touched on everything but little boys, and that's not a stab at Michael. That's just a metaphor. I'm just a psycho." Obviously, the Michael Jackson allegations were a huge thing at the time, and while eventually he was found not guilty, Eminem making fun of this probably didn't make him feel so good. Apparently, Michael tried to get the song banned at first, but that didn't end up working, so he eventually spoke on how he felt about the bold jokes made at his expense.
I've never met Mr. Eminem, and to have him, I've always admired him, and to have him do something like that was pretty painful as an artist to another artist. And it's sad because, well, I think what Stevie Wonder said is true. And I just don't want to say too much more than that. But he should be ashamed of himself, what he's doing. I've never attacked another fellow artist. Great artists don't do that. You don't have to do that.
Michael was clearly frustrated by the song, understandably so, and in response to Michael's frustration, Eminem was actually honored and explained the whole reason behind Just Lose It's creation.
Yeah, that wasn't intentional, but I'm just happy that Michael Jackson has heard of me. You know?
That's the kind of cool side of it.
The fact that he's heard of me is that does me enough. Like the personal things, that was not planned. It was making no personal judgment of Michael Jackson. It was not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was completely...
But you don't like black people, nigga. Stop the cap,
beef
nigga.
up until this point was pretty one-sided, and after this, it went pretty silent. That wasn't until in 2007 when things subtly reignited behind the scenes with Michael's Sony ATV publishing partnership. This group already owned a significant amount of projects for major artists, but then they secured Viacom's famous music catalog for $370 million, which included a lot of Eminem's back catalog. Some fans theorized that this was all a part of Michael's get back for Just Lose It. While the purchase of famous music included some famous names like Shakira, Eminem was considerably one of the most valuable, with hits like Without Me and The Real Slim Shady now being owned by Michael's publishing partnership. A lot of people like to make it seem like Michael Jackson just kind of went out there and bought only Eminem's catalog, which was not the case. So even if the move wasn't meant as direct revenge, it's still a pretty funny and wild way to end the beef. And like I said, there isn't really any concrete evidence that the purchase was made solely to spite M, but it has become a trend for Michael to buy the music of those he beefed with, because he did it again to Paul McCartney of the Beatles. Unlike with Eminem, Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson actually started out as friends. In the early 70s, they first started working together, with Paul somewhat taking Mike under his wing. As the years went by, the two continued collaborating, eventually growing so close that Michael would stay with Paul and his wife while recording in London. In the early 80s, they recorded multiple songs together, including Say, Say, Say and The Girl Is Mine, which is one of my personal favorites from the two, which both ended up going platinum.
Michael originally fancied writing some stuff with me, and I thought it was a good idea. So he came over here to England, and we just hung out for a little while and got to know each other a bit, and ended up writing 2 songs.
One night at dinner while Michael was living with Paul in London, the two started talking about publishing and song ownership. During this conversation, Paul took out a notebook which had a list of all of the songs he owned publishing rights to.
I said, you got to get a really good manager, because it's all going to be coming in and it could all go out if you don't. And I said, and you ought to think of getting into song publishing.
For a business, you ought to think about music publishing. It's because it's very good business. You love music. I'm into it. It does very well. It's a nice, easy business for a musician to be in. And it's a very rewarding business because it's music, it's songs, beautiful songs.
He was trying to tell me, seeing how hard my dad music catalogs and publishing rights was the right thing to do. It was a smart investment. And Michael took this advice to heart. In the same conversation, even insisting that he would buy Paul's music one day. However, as bold as it sounded, Michael wasn't joking, and it ended up being one of the best financial moves he ever made. At this time, Paul was pretty deep into the music publishing investment game. He owned a bunch of songs and catalogs. He learned this the hard way, though, after being almost forced to sell the rights to the Beatles' music in the 60s. This was due to a tax problem in Britain at the time, and to avoid paying about 90% on their earnings. So to dodge this, he created Northern Songs Ltd. and later took the company public. While this was a smart move at the time, the decision ended up turning bad in 1969 when the Beatles publishers sold their shares of the company to Britain's Associated Television, also known as ATV. Sound familiar? None of the Beatles members or any other shareholders of Northern Songs were aware of this sale or even able to prevent it regardless. When they did eventually find out about it, counterbid attempts were made, but in the end failed. Which means not only did they lose the majority of their company, but they also lost the publishing rights to their music. The whole ordeal ended up becoming an example in the industry of why you should never sell your music's publishing rights. A lesson which Michael learned a lot from himself. Throughout the next few years, Michael started buying up decent-sized catalogs across the industry. At first, passing up on most of the options presented to him, only buying music which he had an affection for. But when Michael's career really started taking off, he had a ton more money to play with, which led to him diving deeper into the publishing game. Eventually, in 1985, Michael's team approached him about the massive ATV catalog being up for sale, asking if he wanted to make an offer. Initially, he was only buying copyrights, but the ATV package came with a bunch more, including studios, equipment, and even life insurance policies, which was common for publishers to take out on their biggest artists, one of which was for Paul. Apparently, over the years, Paul had made some weak attempts to bid for ATV, but never anything worth considering. It's believed that Paul just really wanted his music and not the thousands of other songs and things that it came with. However, since the Beatles tracks made up a significant portion of the catalog's value, it was hard for ATV to agree to selling one without the other. And eventually, Michael decided to buy ATV Publishing for $47.5 million, which officially granted him ownership to thousands of songs, including 251 Beatles songs. When Paul became aware of this, he was pretty pissed off at Michael, and he said, "I think it's dodgy to do something like that. To be someone's friend and then buy the rug they're standing on." Michael allegedly tried to call Paul many times to talk things out, but in his frustration, Paul hung up every time. As more time passed, Michael used the Beatles songs in numerous projects, profiting significantly off the publishing rights. In response, Paul reached out a bunch and tried to prevent this, arguing that the music being used in commercials and other things cheapened it. But Michael continued saying that, it will only make the music bigger and more people will hear it and give you more exposure. In 1990, Michael and Paul finally met to discuss their problems.
But I do intend to have a word with it.
Okay, so he bought all that niggas.
We've got to come to a good understanding here.
Michael Jackson was a G, he didn't give no fucks, nigga.
In our case, the trouble is, like the Nike thing that came up, I don't know if you heard about that, but the trouble is that we never did do commercials. With the Beatles, we had
got mad when the student learned the
Paul said
game,
to Michael that he was basically tricked into selling his copyrights while he was young, and now he feels betrayed that his old friend is using this mistake to profit off his music. Michael was claiming that he didn't mean to hurt anyone by doing this, and he was confused. Shortly after this, Paul's attorney reached out to Michael's team and stated that the two artists agreed that Paul's royalties for his music would be increased. However, when Michael's team asked him if this was true, Michael shot this down, saying they never agreed on it. And in response, Paul's team threatened to sue. Apparently, behind the scenes, Michael felt that Paul had many chances to buy his music back, but passed on them because he was too cheap. So now that he owns them and Paul has a problem with it, Michael believed he had no duty to make things right. Which, I don't know, from my perspective, look, I love Michael Jackson, he's dope, but that seems a little snaky, I'll be honest. Years later, in 2001, Paul said, "So we haven't talked and we don't have that great a relationship. The trouble is, I wrote those songs for nothing, and buying them back at these phenomenal sums, I just can't do it." To which Michael responded, "Oh, Paul, that's just business." I love picturing him saying that in his voice. That's so funny. This sentiment continued for years as Paul held a reasonable resentment towards Michael. Eventually, when he tragically passed, Sony/ATV purchased the final shares in a deal with Michael's family worth $750 million. Since Michael's passing, Paul has expressed that he no longer holds much anger about the situation anymore. While he still believes his initial response was valid, there's obviously no point in pursuing it any further. And in the end, in 2018, Paul was able to start getting a bunch of his music back from Sony/ATV through some legal loopholes following a lawsuit and a private legal settlement. So at the end of the day, it's kind of crazy. Paul got his publishing rights back like half a century later. This feud was very public and very direct. But Michael's beef with Prince was a lot more subliminal and spurred on by fans. While Michael Jackson dominated the music game for years, it's hard to talk about pop in the 80s without bringing up Prince. Both artists contributed to the genre in major ways. Throughout their respective solo careers, the two artists rose in step with each other, growing in an almost parallel way. In some cases, they both even dropped projects at the exact same time. Although, while their release schedule and rise was pretty similar, the content of their character and music was pretty contrasted. One fan said about Prince, "He was always more risque and always pushed boundaries. Prince is indirectly why there is a parental advisory label on music with profanity." And they continued on with Michael saying, "Michael Jackson was a star as a child. He was a lead singer of one of the biggest acts in music during the 70s. Therefore, he basically has two careers, one as a child and one as an adult. Michael Jackson was probably the greater entertainer." Funny enough, the two were born in the same year, only months apart, and both grew up in the Midwest. Surprisingly though, with all of these parallels, the two didn't get along very well. They ran into each other for the first time at the 1983 New Year's Eve James Brown concert, a legend that both young stars looked up to. For context, around this time the media had already been heavily pitting the two against one another, and at this show, James inevitably invited Michael up on stage to perform some of his songs. But since Michael wasn't the only star in the room, Michael whispered in James' ear and dared him to invite Prince on stage. Prince accepted and performed with his own little bit of flair. This was the first and the last time that Michael and Prince ever shared a stage. And after watching, you probably think there's not much negative to point out, especially since Prince clearly had the crowd screaming, even if he didn't sing that much. But when you look at the details, a bunch of things actually went wrong. Apparently his guitar was malfunctioning, and when Prince attempted to swing on the prop light pole, the entire thing fell into the crowd. Again, this doesn't seem too bad, but since it was at a major event in front of his idol, you could see how it felt a bit embarrassing. To make matters worse, Michael, who invited him on stage, mocked Prince relentlessly for this performance. And as a result, according to Quincy Jones, Prince even attempted to run Michael over with his car after the show, which, if that's true, is crazy. Their beef intensified further when Prince declined an invite from Michael to appear on the recording of the We Are the World charity single. So, in the following year, Quincy Jones attempted to end the beef by setting up a collaboration between Michael and Prince on the song Bad. However, Prince again decided to turn down the offer. After the fact, Prince decided to explain to Chris Rock why he did that.
This is the story of you turning down Bad.
Well, you know, that Wesley Snipes character, that would have been me. All right, now you run that video in your mind.
Oh shit! Michael Jackson was like, he just
the first line of that song is "Your butt is mine." Your butt is mine. Nah, I said, who gonna sing that to who? Cause you sure ain't singing it to me. And I sure ain't singing it to you. So,
in response to this and other sneak disses, Michael said in a later released audio recording for his 1988 Moonwalk memoir, "I don't like to be compared to Prince at all. I have proven myself since I was real little. He feels like he's my opponent. I hope he changes because, boy, he's gonna get hurt. He's the type that might commit suicide or something." Mike added on saying, "He was so rude, one of the rudest people I've ever met. Prince is very competitive. He's been very mean and nasty to me and my family," which is one of the few direct confrontations of this beef. In the following years, the two continued to have little run-ins here and there, with Michael repeating his attempts to bury the hatchet and Prince also repeating his denials. It wasn't until Michael's death that Prince appeared to experience a change of heart. After hearing about Michael's passing, Prince allegedly canceled rehearsal and went home where he locked himself in his room for days. In further interviews, he spoke on this saying, "It's always sad to lose someone you loved. I don't want to talk about it. I'm too close to it." And in tribute, he even started performing a cover of Michael's "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough." Then later in 2016, Prince also tragically died very young, with some of his close friends expressing sadness that the two stars, Michael Jackson and Prince, never realized how much they had in common before it was too late. And while this is a sad story, it's almost more sad to hear that Michael had a pretty serious beef with his own brother. Michael Jackson got his start in music through the Jackson 5, a band made up of him and his brothers Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, and Marlon, managed by their father, Joe Jackson. The group experienced a lot of success, and from the outside it seemed like everything was great, but that was far from the case. Inside the group existed a growing rivalry and power dynamic fueled by sibling jealousy, and eventually it even led to a brother-on-brother diss track. At first, Michael's older brother, Jermaine, was the Jackson 5's lead singer, until their mom noticed that Michael had a lot of talent, so eventually he was promoted to lead singer, which you might think, oh man, now they're gonna hate each other, that's where it all started. But they were still super close.
I was the lead singer first. When he started singing, and he started watching James Brown and Joe Tex and all these people, and Sammy Davis and Jackie Wilson, it was over. He could watch something and do it, and that's how he patterned himself.
classic pairing of their unique voices attracting a large following. A big part of the Jackson 5 doing well was because of both Michael and Jermaine's talent. In a similar way to Michael and Prince, problems arose though when record labels tried to pin the two brothers against each other by pushing for them to produce solo projects. Even with this, the two were still tight. While their bond was strong, Michael quickly grew in popularity, noticeably eclipsing his brothers. And even with the marketing team at Motown Records pushing each brother for their unique personalities and roles in the band, Michael always got the most shine. During many of the press events is when the rivalry really started to get pushed, especially following the release of Michael and Jermaine's first solo album. Around this time, reporters asked the brothers playfully if one of them thought they were better than the other.
Did you and Michael get together and say, oh, look, I'm number one this week and you're number one next week?
No, well, the timing was just perfect. His album was out before mine, and mine came out. Right. I guess we both hit the charts at the same time.
And at times, they even asked more direct questions, like when Mike is going solo and he's going to leave the Jackson 5 altogether. And I always find it slimy how the media likes to pit people against each other, especially when it's brothers. And despite this, their rivalry still seem lighthearted.
Once the act gets so big, there's so many people that come around, the legal people and everyone, and they sort of almost pull you away. So it's important for us to continue to be a family.
Michael Jackson was a suave ass nigga. I ain't gonna cap, nigga. That's why I be trying to tell niggas, bro. That Fabio Jackson a fucking bozo, nigga. Baboon, nigga.
Like his hand-me-down clothes. It was his voice I first imitated. I loved his sound. He showed me the way. But even when the bond seemed unbreakable, eventually the two would drift apart. Jermaine went on to marry the daughter of the Motown Records founder, which on the surface doesn't seem bad. But the problem is, around this time, the Jackson 5 decided to split from Motown. This was due to the group being dealt an extremely unfair deal, which left them with a shockingly small amount of royalties. So they instead went over to Epic Records where they got a better deal. And this caused a problem because Jermaine decided to stay with Motown. He officially split from his brothers and his spot was filled by his younger brother Randy. In reflection of this split, Jermaine later said, "The sense of detachment and loneliness was profound. I didn't feel like I had lost my right arm. I felt like I had lost every limb. I had Hazel Gordy, of course, but the brotherhood was intrinsic to who I was and everything I knew. When it was ripped away, I felt something tear." And Michael had a similar sentiment, saying, "I clearly remember the first show we did without him, because it was so painful for me. Since my earliest days on stage, and even in our rehearsals in our Gary living room, Jermaine stood at my left with his bass. I depended on being next to Jermaine. In the end, though, brotherhood won, and Jermaine rejoined the Jackson 5. This time, though, they had to go by the Jacksons, since Motown legally owned the name the Jackson 5. Despite the two being reunited, though, they began leaning more into their solo careers. Jermaine did well for himself, generating a strong amount of popularity, but Michael's growth obviously was on a whole nother level. And by the end of the 80s, Michael had claimed his throne as the king of pop. Yeah. On the other hand, Jermaine signed a deal with Clive Davis and never seemed to peak like Michael did. And when looking back, the bitter truth came out. Michael allegedly always thought he was smarter, worked harder, and was more talented than his older brother. On the flip side, Jermaine always felt that Michael's timing is what made him the king of pop. Jermaine said, looking back, "That was supposed to be me. That's why I stayed at Motown. We had plans. But once Michael beat me to it, he made sure it would only be him." Up until this point, most of the resentment was unspoken, at least until 1991, when things turned ugly. Jermaine began working on an album with Babyface and L.A. Reid. Michael found out about this and coincidentally called Babyface in L.A. requesting a meeting. He even sent a helicopter to fly the two record moguls out to Neverland. Jermaine found out about this meeting and immediately requested to be released from his label, claiming that Michael was tricking Babyface in L.A. in order to sabotage his career. Apparently, when Babyface and L.A. arrived at Neverland, Michael said he had no clue who they were, confusing them for Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Regardless, Michael kept them busy for about a week, leading them on with music that was never actually going to happen. Apparently, Babyface and L.A. brought up Jermaine's frustration to Michael, and they said that he couldn't care less. L.A. Reid remembers the conversation going something like this. "He'll get over it," Michael said. "That's not really the problem," L.A. said. "The problem was that he wants off the label now." "Did he sign a contract?" asked Michael. "Yes," L.A. said. "Then he'll have to live with it, because those are the rules," Michael said and walked out. That Michael Jackson was one shrewd man. He was not wrong, but you didn't expect that from Peter Pan. You expect a little compassion or something. No. Cold as ice. And after about a week, Babyface and L.A. returned home to continue their work with Jermaine. While there isn't concrete evidence proving Michael's point was to delay his brother.
While I'm gone, you'll feed Rosie Blue Buffalo?
I gotta delay his brother's work. Many fans and people connected to the situation believe it was the case. Especially Jermaine, who, when L.A. and Babyface got back to Atlanta, decided he was going to make a diss track on his own brother. The vicious track was titled "Word to the Bad" and featured lyrics denouncing Michael as shallow and selfish. Jermaine even went at Mike for allegedly
changing his skin color and obtaining plastic surgery. He also said that Michael hadn't answered his phone calls for months.
But is it 1984 to 1992? You saw Michael maybe
I don't
3
think we'll
times
ever
a
get
year
the real
during that
reason
period.
what really happened to him.
You sent him
I know
letters
it's that Billy
and
Lago,
packages, but he never responded to any of them.
hey man, we just gonna go with Billy
I want
Lago.
to see you, Jermaine. It's not that he didn't want to see me. He could have picked up the phone and
I
seen
mean,
me
Michael
anytime
Jackson
he
can tell us
wanted.
what really happened.
Michael don't call.
Jermaine also said, I understand he's a very busy person, but after you repeatedly try to contact your own brother and he doesn't call you back, you begin to wonder if he hasn't just completely lost touch with reality. Michael obviously didn't like the song and was even driven to sneaking into his parents' house to confront Jermaine, who apparently was avoiding him. Jermaine allegedly leaked the song and spoke on the song saying, I know people are going to go off on a tangent saying that Jermaine is jealous, but it's not true. Michael and I have never feuded. The only reason I wrote this song, and it came from the bottom of my heart, was to help my little brother get a grip on reality. I never meant to discredit him. The song was never supposed to come out in public. But now that it has, I'm here to say that yes, I wrote it and I stand by it. Although the diss track was the peak of their beef, it also seemed to be what ended it. Because whenever Michael and Jermaine spoke following its release, they seemed to have everything hashed out. And while the Jackson family had plenty of other drama, some involving more rumors of Michael suppressing his siblings' careers, in the case of Jermaine and Michael, the two ended on good terms. And as you may have noticed throughout this video, there were a lot of allegations and rumors about Michael Jackson, which is bound to happen when you're the king of pop. And one of the biggest rumors was that we never actually heard Michael Jackson's real voice, and that he instead pitched it way down for the public, which was actually a little bit true. And if you want to learn more about that, make sure to check out the video that's on screen right now. Other than that, though, it's been your boy Matty Balls.
Y'all can check it out, man.
Like and even consider subscribing down below. And
I'll be back. So this Caucasian caucasoid who want to play Michael Jackson. Yeah, Michael Jackson had vertigo. You know what I'm saying? And he had like a fire surgery. He had his fire accident at Coca-Cola. So he fucked up his skin. So he bleached his skin. You know what I'm saying? Plastic surgery. You know what I'm saying? So this fake Michael Jackson want to be like the real Michael Jackson so bad. But he can't sing like Michael Jackson. He can't dance like Michael Jackson. The only thing he good at is looking like Michael Jackson. That's barely. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I said, man. They always try to play on our intelligence. You know what I'm saying? They try to copyright our blackness. Oh, because he had vertigo, he turned white. Oh, so we get to play him and dictate what he does. But they missed the whole part of his career where he was black. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes to show you, man, like, they always playing on our intellectual. They always playing on our colors. That's the thing about black people. Black people can turn white. You know what I'm saying? With vitiligo and motherfucking leprosy and motherfucking albinoism. These white people can't turn black. You get what I'm saying? That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? But we come in all shades of colors. You get what I'm saying? They wish they could be like us, but they could never. And they only can steal and replicate and copyright. And that's the only thing they can do. But that's why we stand always speaking the truth, man. No matter how they want to look at us and perceive us. Because they always try to destroy the black man and make us look like we fools and phony and all this. But we going to always keep it real out here on these streets and outside shit. And shout out to the real Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? 5-0 shit could never, like, he couldn't even hold a candle to the real Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, the real Michael Jackson probably wouldn't even fuck with this nigga. Let's be honest. Hood, Northside. Big crip in the game, Northside shit.
Hey, Dad, you know, dog, when we link up, dog, this shit be legendary. Even though this is instrumental, you the engineer on it, so Kodak everywhere.